before we get started, so let me quickly, introduce our guest today. So today we have a guest, special guest, Mr. Ankur Agarwal. So first of all, good morning, everyone, and a warm welcome to everyone of you joining us today. It's an absolute pleasure to have such a fantastic gathering of bright minds and eager learners for here. Today we have a topic on foundation of predictive analytics in healthcare domain using data science applications. And to do this, today we have a expert in a healthcare data science area, none other than Ankur Agarwal. So Ankur, warmest welcome to you. So to give you a quick background about our speaker, so Ankur is a senior data scientist, worked as assistant vice president in American Express, JP Morgan, IQVIA. It's one of the world's #1 healthcare analytics company. Ankur is a health enthusiast and also he's a long distance runner. So he's also a astute professional, a full stack data scientist expert, worked on all the tools, and also he's also an expert in SAS to Python now. So he has also worked in investment banking, healthcare, pharmacy, analytics, insurance, retail, FMCG, etc. And thank you, Ankur, for taking out your time on Saturday and joining us for this webinar. And I also encourage everyone to actively participate, ask questions, and eager with our esteemed speaker. So let us make this session an interactive session and enriching session. So once again, welcome to each one of you. Over to you, Ankur.
Vimlesh, thank you so much for this warm welcome, first of all, and welcome on board, everyone. So I would quickly call out the names just to formally greet everyone. So we have Ayushi, Dr. Raju, Jyotendra, Kanaya, Manish, Pranab, Raj, Rohit, and Sandeep. My sincere welcome to everyone. I hope this 1 hour investment on this important weekend would be worth wasting with you guys, worth wasting with me for you guys. So let's get started without wasting much time. I will be quickly taking 30 more seconds to formally take you to with my profile so that you can have some pointers and you can have some kind of conviction that with whomsoever you are investing your one important hour of your life, that is going to be into the right direction. So as what Vimlesh told you guys, my name is Ankur and I'm going to be your speaker for this 1 hour conversation. Long story short, I have 13 or 14 years of working experience as of now. Started my career with investment banking though, but I have worked in the healthcare domain for past 7 years in IQVIA, which is world's #1 healthcare analytics. Along with IQVIA, I am happy to share that I worked in healthcare insurance giant as well, which is second to the word, that is Aetna. Aetna Insurance is like second to United Healthcare Group. I'm pretty sure many of you guys must have heard of the UHG as a company. It's also established in North Delhi and NCR, United Health Group. So I work for Aetna, that is the biggest competitor for UHG. So with that capability, I think we are good to start with this whole conversation where we will be addressing the latest trends and the upcoming futuristic scenarios of AI and ML into the world of healthcare. Prior to that, I would like to get back to you guys. Maybe anyone can interact with me, Dr. Raju, Jyotendra, Kanaya, Manish, anyone of, how many of you guys are working in the healthcare domain so that I can probably align my conversation or maybe fine tune it more relevant to you guys? Anyone who has some understanding, or maybe I can make it more relevant to you guys? Sandeep, Rohit, Raj, Pranab, Mumtaj, Manish.
You can raise your hand.
Yep.
If you want to speak.
Maybe I can get a sense that in what areas you are working. Hey, Manish, good to have you on board. Can you please share your thought where and what profile you are working? Because there are a lot of things we talk about. Healthcare is not just one single stream or a vertical. We have thousands of the things to continue with. Maybe you can share your thoughts, what exactly the work capabilities you have and what is the work profile you have, Manish?
Yeah, so good morning, Ankur. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to join this. My name is Manish. I am working with the Sun Pharma, the #1 pharma company in India. And more about my domain is I work in a GI marketing, which is very specific to gastroenterology, where I look care of portfolio, which is the size of 800 crore. So the most important thing is to understand about the use. See, the day to day, I use IQVIA data, I use IMS data, I use AVEX data. So how to interpret it? What will be the second layer of understanding about the data? how I can go deep down understanding about the strategy on that. So that's the point what I looks on with this
Wow.
1 hour of seminar.
That sounds interesting, Manish. So you are banging into the target, right? And I am happy and proudly saying that I might be the right person for you to answer all of these things, because I have worked on the LMS data, XPO data. When you are talking about the IQVIA data, I think you are familiar with all of these things, like patient level data, doctor level data, hospital level data,
And
right?
to add on, and also specific to real world evidence also.
Right, RWE.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I mean, it's exciting to have you with us, Manish. Anyone else in this conversation? Jyotendra, Kanaya, Mumtaj, Pranab, Sandeep, Dr. Raju. Okay, so I think I should take this forward now. Manish, I would not be, I mean, I am not guaranteeing that you would be having all your answers right into the very same conversation, but maybe we can have a detailed conversation in length and breadth offline, or whenever we get the chance to touch base once again, because it's a strict 1 hour conversation. But yeah, whatever the doubts you have, it's very interesting. And I'm more than happy to answer all of those ideas in line with whatever I have worked so far. So, I mean, because I have worked in Italy for 2 years in the very same capacity on IQVIA, in IQVIA. So European market, US market is altogether different as compared to what we are having in the Indian market. So let's have a detailed conversation on all of those lines. So just to keep this whole conversation more interesting and align with the larger interest of the whole batch, what I'll do, I'll talk about the general areas and the thoughts of what the healthcare analytics means for us and how we should consider all of those areas. So when I'm talking about healthcare analytics, I hope you guys are able to see my screen. If not, then I can share it once again. Let me do that. Okay. Is my screen visible, Vimlesh? Can you confirm that?
Yes, Ankur, it's visible.
Okay. Unfortunately, Vimlesh, my drawing tools are not working today. I somehow got my digital pen dysfunctional today, but I would make sure that it is equally interactive for all of us. Okay. Now, when I'm talking about healthcare analytics, we are pretty clear with the fact that this healthcare analytics is comprising of two keywords, where healthcare is altogether a different theory, and analytics, as you are aware of, is a part and parcel of every business activity or business-driven decisions these days. So when I'm talking about healthcare analytics, maybe I would love to separate these two keywords, healthcare as a one dimension for us to talk with, and analytics as one dimension to talk with. And when I say healthcare as a whole is very wide. We have the different areas, different domains, different verticals. As in, healthcare insurance is one thing. We can probably transact that line. So insurance, pharmacy, medical market, or you can say healthcare providers, HCPs, which you better call it, right? Manish, you might be aware of HCPs and all of these terminologies, right? Payers, payees, all of these keywords are going to be the part and parcels. So healthcare is one thing, which is more about the domain. And when I say domain, just like the way we have been very much used to with the other jargons and the keywords, like financial analytics, risk analytics. So my dear friends, here I would like you to understand that healthcare analytics is all about analytics, whatever we can implement to make sure that the overall umbrella and the larger perspective of healthcare market is being more strategically driven with the analytical based capabilities, with the latest uptrends and the recent advancements. We call it like AI, ML, conversational AI, chat GPTs you might have heard of. So healthcare analytics is nothing different than whatever we have been doing with the HR analytics, whatever we might be doing with the risk analytics, whatever we might be doing in financial analytics or finance analytics, or maybe retail analytics. the idea would remain same. What I'm trying you to understand the fact that we are just using the analytical capabilities to drive the business decision-making abilities in whatsoever the domain we are working on. And in line with that thought, as an example, I'm saying recently I have been, or my team is working on a project which is compensation analytics. Just to draw some better analogies for you guys. When I say compensation analytics, we are helping one of the leading organization to identify the right compensation to their employees in their respective organization at the various locations. So when we are using the analytics in the respective HR domain for a particular purpose, then it is being called as HR analytics. Same way, when I would be using analytics in the different areas and the verticals of healthcare analytics, or sorry, healthcare, then it would be called as healthcare analytics. Be it for the insurance, be it for the pharmacy, be it for the HCPs, be it for the payers and pays. So Manish, I think you have been working with Sun Pharma. So because I have worked for Novartis, Pfizer, GSK, and so on. So you might be knowing that pharmaceutical companies spends a lot of money on the marketing representatives for the different engagements with the doctors, right? With the physicians and all, right, Manish? So in line with that idea, we would be talking on some projects. But before that, I would like you to understand that how many of you, I would like to understand that how many of you have the fair understanding or the basic understanding of analytics? What are the types of analytics you guys understand? Can you just share your thoughts with me so that I can take it to the further details of the healthcare analytics, more specific to the different projects? Anyone? What are the types of analytics you guys are aware of? Anyone? Rohit, Sandeep, Pranab, Mumtaj, Kanaya, Akansha, Arpita.
We have in chat descriptive analytics
Okay.
and predictive analytics.
Thanks a lot, Pranab. So we have descriptive, we have predictive, and I'm pretty sure you guys must also be aware of what is descriptive and what is predictive. Right? Yes, Rohit, can you share your thoughts?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling about. Yeah, we have descriptive, we have predictive, we have prescriptive, then we have machine learning, and then we have artificial intelligence for doing analytics.
So what about the diagnostic? You might have heard of diagnostic as well, right?
No, not sort.
Okay, so what you are saying is correct, Rohit. I'm delighted that you are interacting with the conversation. But just to keep the whole idea being more simple, easy, and straightforward, there are a lot of fancy jargons, like you rightly said. Prescriptive is there. Maybe you would find diagnostic also as one of the other type of analytics in different articles blogs, but these things comes very fancy, I would say. Okay, think it from the marketing perspective. Like if you would have been a writer or an author, you would like your article to be read by most of the people or many of the people, right? So these things comes very fancy. Rather than making it complex for you guys, I would make it simple. So what I'm saying is that let's keep it simple. And in my thought, there are only and only two types of analytics. One is descriptive, one is predictive. Why? Prescriptive, diagnostic, and all of these things falls under the umbrella of predictive only. Maybe you can say these are the additional layers or the other sophisticated advanced steps of predictive, but all of them falls under the umbrella of predictive analytics itself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So with that thought, when I say descriptive, whatever the data we have, we are using it and describing the data. Okay, like as an example, how many participants are there in this batch today? So the number comes out to be 16. How many of them are male? How many of them are female? What is the average salary of males and females in the respective designations and the grades you have in your offices? What is the attrition ratio? What was the highest package one of you guys got in your college days? What is the total family income you have? So all of these things are what? You just have data and you are simply providing the useful nuggets of the information in the summarized and an aggregated form. And that is what we do call it as a descriptive analytics. This requires a simple 6th standard school mathematics, isn't it so? So count, sum, max, min, average, and so on and so forth. These things are being called as the part of the descriptive analytics. Now, when I say predictive, you are using the data to identify what might or could happen in future. To make it more simple for you guys, let us understand that with the help of an example. Example is like, how many corona patients are there till today? So if you'll get back to the 2019 days or 20 days when the corona was at the peak, we have a daily forecast, right, Rohit? That these are the corona patients hospitalized or released and so on. So in line with that thought, if you would consider that number, like, okay, today or until yesterday, these are the corona patients or the count of the corona patients who has been hospitalized is this. Now, when you are using some data to identify how many corona patients will be there by the end of 2023, then this capability is now being called as predictive analytics. Okay. What does that mean? You are using the data, including some driving factors, maybe the geography, the temperature, the climate, the contact of the person, the medical infrastructure, the test being happened so far. And so thousands of the things could have been a part of the engagement. And eventually you are identifying, okay, boss, after all of these factors and inputs, what was going to be the count of the patients by the end of this year. Now, why we are doing this? Why predictive? Any answer? Anyone?
So such that if we know that we will going to have something like in medical terms, like if you know that you will have being a prediction testing, like something, if you know that this patient, or I just have to have an heart attack, or I might be probably having cancer. So if I got to know it before, so I would be treating it on a normal stage, right?
Right. So I
So,
can probably sum it out in a simple way that you are using the insights from the data to drive the business decision-making abilities, right? To drive the decision-making abilities, correct or not? Or to get the competitive edge, whatever the purpose is, right? But better answer is, like, in a general purpose, I can say to drive the business decision-making abilities, to strengthen the decision-making abilities. Can I say that?
yeah.
In a
Fair.
nutshell,
And also
yeah.
and also, since this is based on the historic data that we are building a futuristic data on this, the reliability of these kind of data becomes very, very strong.
That's true, Vandana, right? You are rightly saying it. That's the right input. Now, in line with all of these thoughts and inputs, when I say to drive or strengthen the decision-making abilities, let me make it simple for you. Suppose Indian Medical Association, okay, the government agency is identifying that, okay, by the end of this year, these are going to be the count of the patients in India. Now, what I mean by when I say to drive the decision-making abilities, I simply want you to understand that BJP or any other government or Indian Medical Association has nothing to do, absolutely nothing to do whether I, being a person, Ankur Agarwal, is going to be dead or survived by this corona by the end of this year, right? They have nothing to do with that. But why they are doing and analyzing all of these things? So that they can manage their medical infrastructure. Correct or not, Vandana? They can identify, okay, how many ventilators they might be needing in Delhi as a cluster, how
Yes.
many vaccinations they are required to import, or maybe if vacant vaccinations are there, how many of those can be exported to the other countries to manage the foreign policies or to make the better relationships with the other countries, whatever the purpose is, right? Long story short, you are using the different predictive capabilities to strengthen the purpose, whatever you are doing for. That's how the simple idea is. On your screen, this is what the descriptive and predictive pieces are. And because it's a very stringent, time-bound conversation, maybe I would like to highlight few core pillars of analytics for you guys, which will definitely help you. When I say analytics, maybe you can also say it like machine learning. How many of you guys have been interested to know what the machine learning in a nutshell? Manish, Vandana, What about the other people? I will make it very simple, okay? Trust me. You're going to be learning the machine learning in next 10 minutes. It's a guaranteed agreement. Okay. Now, machine learning is as same as what the human learning is. Trust me. Trust me, my dear friends. I am somehow unable to get my drawing tools. Otherwise, I would have drawn it for you guys. Let me try to have it. Just a second. Okay. All right. So maybe I will treat you with some bad drawings. Oops. Okay, I think this is not operational. So let me draw it out. Okay. So what I'm saying is, think about these two boxes and the inputs. I will be making it for you guys. So just like the way you have machine learning, I'm trying to draw the analogy of the human learning. So we human beings learn from the day in and day out situations and the circumstances. So just like the way data is there, same way. So data is for the machine learning, historical data is there. Same way we have humans. And we being the humans are getting trained with the different conditions or the situations, correct, Rohit?
Yeah, right.
Right. Suppose I being a boy fall in love with a love relationship with a girl. So that is what the situation is happening. And eventually, after a while, I got breakup. Okay. So this is what I have experienced. So conditions and situations will help me to get some experience or learning here, right? Experience is synonymous to learning. And that is what we typically do in machine learning. So this has been the input and something has happened. And basis on that, you have this kind of outputs. Just like the way I being a boy, fall in love relationship with a girl. This is what these situations are. And when the breakup happened, I experienced what? The sadness, depression, pain, and so on and so forth. So the learning and the experience is that, boss, if you will fall into a love relationship, you will eventually end up getting sadness, pain, and depression. This is what the kind of machine learning operates on the various inputs when the conditions and the situations happens iteratively. Like if I will do fall in love again after an year, and same thing happens, then I would be very much sure that, boss, every time you would fall into a love relationship, it will definitely gonna be giving you the pain, sadness, and depression. And that's what the machine learning helps you. So machine learning is all about getting the training on the data. So just like the way we human beings are getting learned or experienced from the data, from the day in and day out situation, same way machines are getting trained from the patterns in the data, trends in the data, and then generating the output. So if this happen, this is what going to be the output for this. So this is what the same thing is there. Machines are just learning the way we human being learns from the day in and day out activity. Nothing different than that. Does that make sense to you guys? Online friends, are you all with me?
Yes, we are with you.
Yep, cool. Now, for the sake of the better clarity, I am now going a little bit more technical in detail. Why I'm going technical? Because sooner or later, maybe not in this session, but whenever you would get a chance to explore the various analytical capabilities in the various domains, be it the healthcare as of now, be it the retail or FMCG or risk analytics, whatever. So let me give you an example. One of my friend, I recently invited him on dinner. he has been working in BNY Mellon. I would not be giving his name because it's a very, very kind of a unique work profile he carries. It's more like the very confidential profile. So what he does, you won't believe the fact that he has been a subject matter expert in the financial domain. Okay, so try to understand and bring the more analogies to the healthcare world. Now, he has been working in BNY Mellon. BNY Mellon, you guys know, right? Bank of New York.
Yes.
So his profile is more about the domain. When I say domain, he's a finance expert, guys, or banking expert, guys, in a nutshell. He's a subject matter expert. And he then uses the various analytical capabilities to underwrite the banks. Last year, you might have heard of a lot of banks in US like Credit Suisse and FNB got collapsed. Do you remember that last year in US? So he has been genuinely, I have seen the written emails. He has shown him in his mobile. He has been a person who has been in direct connect with the CRO, Chief Risk Officer of the FRB banks and all. And he has been making sure that how much bailout package to the various banks should be given by the American government or the such big banks by like BNY Mellon and so on. So long story short, what I would like you to understand that the domain understanding really prevails everything. And he has been using the various analytical capabilities, be it the regression in many of the cases, or logistics. I will explain probably the idea of what the regression and the logistics is. And he has been now identifying, okay, if a particular bank has to be built out, how much money ideally should have been given, and so on and so forth. So long story short, when I say healthcare analytics, it's pretty simple with the fact that one has to be an expert in a particular domain. In our case today, we're going to be talking on the healthcare part. Analytic is going to be common fulcrum. It's an epicenter for everything, and it's going to be same, my dear friend. So now you have to decide whether you want to excel your career more around the analytical capabilities or more around a particular domain. At the end of the day, analytics is going to be same. The kind of analytical capabilities, tools, techniques, methodologies, fundamental pillars, wherever you are working. I can take my example. I started my career with investment banking. Then I worked in healthcare for maybe 8 years or 9 years, 7 years in IQVIA, 2 years in Aetna. Then I worked for FMCG, retail, healthcare, and so on and so forth. So in all of these situations, I have been exploring the various domains because of the fact that I know the in and out of analytics. So I, being a speaker, mentor, coach, I would suggest, recommend, and encourage each one of you to maybe excel in your respective domains, and then to identify what are all the basic analytical capabilities you can leverage in your various verticals and the domains. That's how it would be more helpful for you. Does that make sense to you guys? Yep, cool. Now, I would have some kind of core healthcare related projects. Like I worked in Aetna, which is a world's second healthcare insurance giant, where we were using the analytical capabilities to understand, okay, how much insurance claim a particular person should get, how much money ideally he should get. We were more helping the underwriters, we were helping the insurance companies to understand what are the genuine profiles, what are the fake claims. So we were identifying the claims, okay, just to give you an example. So because I am talking about the healthcare insurance, you can associate with what I'm saying. So insurance companies are getting claims, okay? Thousands of the claims are there. And my job was to identify, is that a claim is a genuine claim or a fake claim, right? That means I am gonna be classifying whether a particular entry or a record is 0 or 1. Correct or not? Rohit, does that make sense to you?
Yes, yes.
Now,
Ankur, one more thing.
Yeah.
If a person know analytics, as you said, that analytics is common, pretty common, right? And if you want to have a career, something like so you can have a subject matter expert of the particular domain. So is that compulsory or mandatory that person should know the in and out of that particular domain? Say for example, if I am working in a retail domain, so just like if you are explaining about claims and everything, right? So it's a example where I apply a classification or something kind of a model. So the same model can be applied to a medical domain too, right?
exactly. That's what I was trying to convey the fact that. So because I have been doing that in the healthcare insurance is what I would be considering it as a part of the healthcare analytics. If the same methodology, so when I say classification where I'm predicting the value in a form of 0 or 1, this is nothing but the kind of classification, one of the most commonly and the widely used analytical capabilities, right? And when same thing is going to be done in the risk analytics or in the HR analytics, okay? HR analytics, mein same thing would be turned out to be like whether an employee will leave the company or not. Correct or not?
Right.
That is again the same thing. Let me copy paste that for you. Now this turned out to be the HR analytics, whether a person will or an employee will continue with an organization or not. Employee will be retained or not. Again the same thing, 0 or 1. So when I say classification where you are predicting the value in the form of whether a person, so think it like this, okay, let's not get too complicated. Emails are there, right? It's a spam email or a genuine email, spam or not spam, same thing, isn't it? So whether an email you're getting is a spam email or not, or not a spam email, again the same thing, 0 or 1. So in all such cases, what I want you to understand, my dear friends, the fact is that analytics is same. The approach, the methodology, the mathematics behind the activity is same, but because you are doing it for the different domains with the different problem statement is the reason you are just labeling that to be different. And that's the reason we do have the different projects like HR analytics, same thing. But eventually at the end of the day, you are doing the same thing. Suppose I would give you a very interesting example. Rohit, to give you the kind of clarification, what I'm saying is, let's understand that. You might have, how many of you guys have heard of regression? Regression, I am pretty sure many of you guys must have heard of, correct? Vandana, Manish, Sandeep, Pranab, you guys must have heard of regression?
Yes, Ankur.
Yes.
Yep. So regression is what? Something which we have been in and out learning in the economics, right? Y is equals to mx plus c wala concept. Correct. Now, honestly speaking, there is something called market mix modeling. Have you guys heard of market mix modeling? In fact, I would be using it in one of my projects because I have done that in. So interesting fact, and I am very excited to say that market mix modeling is nothing but a simple idea of implementing the regression as a mathematical approach. This is mathematics and this is business. Just the very same difference, nothing else. Okay, so Rohit, are you there? Say hi to me.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay, so suppose Rohit, you are applying for a job as a fresher maybe, and you have written that you have knowledge of regression in and out. There could be a chance that I might not be shortlisting your profile. You're getting my point. But at the same time, if you are writing in your CV that you have done some project on market mix modeling, then there are strong chances that you are shortlisted, plus you are also hired, and that too with a great package. Now, point is simple, that when I say market mix modeling, this is nothing but regression. What we are doing is, we are identifying the various marketing channels and its contribution, like B1X1 plus B2X2 plus B3X3, and how all collectively they are driving your sales, which is nothing but your Y in a simple way, correct? Now, this is nothing but a regression in a larger perspective. You might have seen that. But regression is used for a particular purpose where you are identifying that your sales is getting generated by the various channels, and these are going to be the contribution of all of these channels to drive the sales. Suppose, in a nutshell, I am spending 100 rupees. Then how much money I should spend on YouTube in my marketing or on Instagram? Okay, or on LinkedIn marketing or on Facebook. So the right proportion of all of these channels to give me the most optimized ROI of my 100 rupees spend is what I am doing it with the or for the market mix modeling. But at the end of the day, if you will get into the technicalities of the analytics, you will identify that this is nothing but a complete regression, my dear friend. You're getting my point? Yep.
Yeah, got it. The
Right.
point.
So same way. When I say market mix modeling, this is nothing but a core project, core domain specific project. Same way when I say, let me squeeze out for you. Oops, sorry for that. Same way. So regression is nothing but a market mix modeling. Same way, Rohit, you can say that, Ankur, I know the in and out of classification, and be it logistics, be it decision tree, be it random forest, be it KNN, be it SVM. There are thousands of the methodologies, right? Maybe many of you guys are aware of that. Many of you guys are not aware of that. But at the end of the day, you are predicting the values in certain groups. And those groups could be like whether an email is a spam email or not spam email. This could be a problem statement. Whether a person will be getting admission, whether a patient will die or survive. You know, I have my friend and he has been, so, I mean, Manish, you might be exposed or aware of that.
Yeah, I am exposed of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So one
Yeah.
of my friend has been working with the one of the hospital. I am somehow forgetting the name. There is a hospital in Noida 62 के पास कौन सा hospital है? I'm not sure whether you guys are aware of it.
A lot of hospitals in there.
Yeah.
That's it.
So that my friend has been developing an algorithm, you know, and the algorithm was more with the cancer patients. When a person is getting admitted to a hospital, that algorithm was used to execute it, and that algorithm was determining that whether a patient will die or not, whether a patient will survive or not technically.
Okay.
Okay, if
So
there are chances to get him survived, how many days he can survive? So
yeah, so
he has
basically designing the patient funnel. So from
correct.
scratch, a patient with the oncotherapy, specifically on that therapy area, if we going for a medication choice, yeah, going for a patient choice, it depends upon that funnel. I think so. That's you're talking about.
Yes, right. So my point is simple that so there are a lot of layers. Layer is like when a patient is there, patient will survive or not. So again, the 0 or 1 thing, right? And when I say 0 or 1, this is classification. Right. Once you are identifying that, okay, boss, patient is going to be survived, then how many days he would survive? So to identify the number of days, we can probably run the regression. So at the different layers, to identify the different areas, you have some different core analytical capabilities. So maybe you guys can write it down. Whenever we get the chance to discuss that in detail, it will help you. But at this stage today, because it's a time-bound activity, I would love you to have a note of these 4 keywords, at least that yes, you have some takeaways. Regression, classification, my dear friend, clustering, and time series. On your screen, I can assure you that today, tomorrow, 10 years down the line, in India or anywhere across the globe, anywhere, you would end up doing either regression or classification or clustering or time series. These are just the 4 major pillars you have whenever we are talking about analytics or more specific to machine learning. Machine learning, you can probably say that is synonymous to analytics I am using in a layman term as of now. Okay. These are the technical keywords. You might be asking.
Ankur, just to interrupt you, I have heard about regression classification and clustering, but some about time series. Just can you give a brief about this? What does exactly it mean?
Yes, Manish. Okay, interesting. So regression is all about using X, okay, to predict the value of Y, correct? That's what the regression is. Suppose how much hours of study I have, or maybe how much hours of work I have, plus how much, what is my academics qualification, which domain I am working, and based on that, if I am identifying my CTC, if I'm predicting my CTC, that is the regression, correct, Manish?
Yes, yes.
Time series is a specific case of regression. Just write it down for me.
Yeah.
Time series is a specific case of regression where instead of predicting the Y based on the various X, you are simply predicting the Y on the basis of past values of Y, like yn minus 2, yn minus 1, and yn. That means I am going to be predicting your CTC not on the basis of other external factors like, okay, you have taken the extra data science lessons from me as an Ankur so that you can be a great data scientist, or you are just, going for a vacation for a month, fighting with your manager. No, boss, work is done. I am done with my work. And now I need to have relax in my life. So maybe you are just getting casual or lenient with your job, or maybe you are getting too serious with your job. That has nothing to do with your CTC. I'm simply predicting your CTC based on whatever the pattern and the trend you had in the past. So predicting the Y not on any other X factor, but on the basis of past pattern or the flow of the Y number. That is what a simple time series is. Does it make sense?
Got it. Yeah.
So can we say that in the past 2019, when we have a daily raise of COVID cases, so that is totally based on time series data, or we can say that?
With whom I'm talking? Is it
Rohit.
Rohit? Rohit, because of the fact that COVID days, I have been working in the in healthcare domain only. I was in Italy that time, unfortunately. So, you might have been aware of the fact that those days there was no such a standard model. Thousands of time series was there, regressions was there, dynamic models were there. So whatever it could have been there in the picture was all being considered, right? Right. So let's not relate that with the COVID exactly, because I personally have, started hackathons. What I did, I distributed my whole organization into various groups of 4 members each, and there were like 25 submissions of the various predictive models for the corona spread. And trust me, no. Yep. Sorry. Is that visible now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can say that.
But to conclude that conversation, what I'm saying is that during corona days, we have tried almost everything possible, be it time series, be it regression, to identify whatever the model could have been closer to the actual numbers, could have been a reasonable one. But unfortunately, that was altogether a different situation. To conclude to our conversation, time series is something which is very, very regular, Rohit. In a nutshell, I can say, whenever you have no clue what to do, time series can be a go-to factor for you. Okay. So to give you the realistic example, I was giving a corporate training to the Aon Habit, which is like a IT company, right? You might have heard of Aon Habit.
Yeah.
And that time there were a couple of the folks in my batch who were the learners. They were from the managed services guy. And the managed services guys are like, you might be aware of the ITIL things, right? The tickets, they were level 2, level 3 support, correct? So those guys, while I was discussing the time series with them, one of the guy was very sharp, very quick. He implemented the time series over the last 6 months data on the tickets they are getting on the daily basis. And he eventually identified that, okay, this is the kind of volume of the work and the tickets they're going to be having in the next 1 month or 2 months. So time series is like more realistic in a general situation, like, okay, what would be the footfall, what would be the growth in the aviation industry? That is something you can identify. What is going to be the general trend? So in all such cases, we eventually consider the time series. You got my point?
Yeah. Means the pattern or the trend, or we can consider the seasonality, right? What we are considering in time
Seasonality,
series is
exactly.
not common, or we cannot find the pattern out of it to predict or
Exactly.
something like that, right?
So there are three major pillars. One is the trend, then we have the seasonality or cyclicality, and
Right.
eventually we have the you can say the exceptional emergencies or the irregularities, more technically we call it, right?
Yeah.
So this is what the time series is all about. Let me give you the right picture so that you guys can understand. Let me help you with the correct idea. So I will take 5 more minutes to discuss the analytical capabilities, and the last 5 minutes I will help you to. So I have done a lot of hard work for you guys. I mean, I am about to get some hardcore healthcare projects as well, but considering the time we are running short with, that is the reason I would be taking it in a very, very quick way. So first of all, let me help you to understand the core idea of the 4 capabilities. Okay. So the easiest way is what you have on your screen to understand the 4 pillars: regression, classification, clustering, and time series on your screen. Let me help you to understand them one after the another. Regression is a methodology which we'll be using whenever you are predicting the value of a column which is continuous in nature. Continuous means numeric generally, like what would be the sales, what would be the rainfall this year, what will be the price of the stock, what will be the footfall of a store, or how much votes a particular political party will get. Or the best example is like if you're selling your car or a house in the second hand app-based sale and purchase business like Cars Deco, Carwala 24, or Car 24 or housing.com. In that, what you have, a lot of factors are there. Like suppose if I'm selling my car to carsdeco.com, then they will evaluate my car on the various factors. What is the color? What is the purchase year, like model of the car? What is the brand? Because Maruti has a better resale value, correct? As compared to Chevrolet or Hyundai. What is the how much kilometers my car is driven, how much insurance is left, what is the tire condition. So all of these X factors will then decide or drive what will be the price of my car I might be getting. Correct or not, Manish? In all such cases, you might have experienced that why the column, the value you are predicting is numeric, like continuous. In my case, the price of the car, the seats, the particular number of the votes in the political party you will get. So whenever you have such case where you are predicting the Y, be it in the healthcare sector or a retail sector or an FMCG sector, that is going to be done by the regression. So just note it down for you guys. I mean, note it down. Regression is one thing you have learned today. Second thing is classification. Classification is all about identifying or predicting the data into 2 or more than 2 groups. Like if a patient is there, he would survive or not, a student will pass or not, customer will churn or not. I have been doing this kind of analysis a lot in the FMCG and the retail sector. Whether an email is a spam email, it could be 2 or more than 2 groups. Suppose a genuine email is there, should that be going into the primary category, update, social or promotional section in your Gmail? So you have 4 tabs in your Gmail box. So out of these 4, in which group it should fall then? So be 2 or more than 2 groups, but one thing is clear that boss, you are segregating, predicting the data into the given groups. Those groups are already there with you. Whenever you have such type of activity to be done in any of the domain, in my case, it could be healthcare, then this is being called as classification. And for classification, again, there is a lot of mathematical methodologies are there. One of them is logistics. You have naive-Bayes, decision tree, random forest, KNN, SVM, and so on and so forth. Then comes the clustering. Clustering is very, very commonly used in healthcare as well, in retail, in FMCG, almost everywhere where we have the retail kind of activities. Here also we are segregating the data, but the groups are not predefined. Dividing the data into 2 or more than 2 groups based on their similarities and dissimilarities, homogeneity and heterogeneity. Then comes the time series. To compare the time series, what you guys were asking for, think about this, Manish. Can you see my screen? Yep. So
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
can
this
see
is
it.
what So this is what the scenario is. You are predicting the green color values based on the past values, like what will be the CTC I might be having in the next 3 months based on my 10 years pattern. And this, whenever I'm talking about the time series, you have three major keywords. What is the trend? What is the seasonality? And what is the seasonality is often, or in some of the cases, you might be reading seasonality. In some of the cases, cyclicality will also be there. So I am not getting into the debate. Cyclicality. Okay, and then irregularity. So that's how the things are for the time series. So four things are there. And maybe whenever we get the chance to explore these terminologies in detail, I would love to discuss that with you, or maybe you can connect with me, reaching out to me. Vimlesh, are they going to be having my LinkedIn ID with them being shared, or how they going to be probably?
No. I'll just post your LinkedIn ID in chat so they can just have
Cool.
it.
Sounds good. Okay, so Manish, my sincere apologies because we have been always okay. So I might be running or rushing out with these slides, but maybe Vimlesh, if it is required, I can share these slides, whatever I created for them. Okay.
Yeah, that will be great.
Yeah, Ankur, you can share it with me. I'll pass it across in our community so they can pick it up from there.
So there is a kind of project. I think Manish and my other friends, whoever is currently working in the healthcare domain, can really relate to it. Targeting and segmentation is something which I genuinely have been doing day in and day out with a lot of my engagements. And specifically when you're talking about the pharmaceutical industry, Manish, in the specific US market scenario, so every pharmaceutical company, like you're working for Sun Pharma, I have worked for Novartis, Abbott, Pfizer, GSK. So what they have, the idea is like a particular drug or a medicine to be developed takes 10 to 15 years. A lot of trials, clinical trials are there, right?
Yes.
And these trials takes like 10 to 15 years. And they have the license for 5 to 10 years to sell out that drug. So whatever the time limit they have been given or provided by the government, they need to make sure that their drug is being sold with the best of their capabilities. So a lot of the money is to be spent, a lot of the strategies to be built to make sure that they are having the best ROI. And for that, suppose 100 doctors are there in US. So they won't be sending their market representatives, AMRs, to all the 100 doctors with the similar priorities, correct? So for that reason, we make sure that, okay, boss, so think it like this way. I mean, we have been targeting the doctors and making the segments out of them so that we can divide out of the 100 doctors, we can divide, okay, these doctors fall into very high potential categories or medium categories or low categories. So depending on their overall bandwidth, we make sure that, okay, this is how they are going to be falling into that. So maybe let me punch that. High, medium, low. High, medium, low, or very high, high, medium, low, and very low. Okay, so think about this. Suppose 100 doctors are there. Maybe I can split them into 30 and 40 proportion split, like the way I have been doing that in the first section. You guys can see that. Okay, 30% doctors I have kept them into the very high potential groups so that my marketing representatives can reach out to the group. So you guys know the 80-20 rule. Do you know that 80-20 rule? Manish, Vandana, Rohit. Yep.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I learned this rule very late in my life, but I personally feel that this rule is genuinely very much relevant and probably applicable to all the phases and the areas of our work culture as well in our personal life, right? So top 30% of those doctors can give me 80% or 70% of the sales is what I am doing it here. And is the purpose I'm doing the targeting and segmentation. Got my point? So segmentation is done first, and targeting is nothing but how I should reach out to those doctors. What should be the strategies? So segmentation and targeting goes hand to hand. You are doing segmentation for targeting. You should learn in this way, correct? So segmentation targeting is one project. Improve healthcare marketing through advanced targeting and segmentation using predictive analytics. And trust me, I have been using the simple clustering approaches. In many of the times, I have been using the segmentation approaches for that. Maybe you are aware of the concentration curve. Let me show you something on Google. You guys must be aware of the concentration curves. Right? So this is nothing but the same idea. And trust me, I have been providing these kind of curves to every month to all my pharmaceutical clients, like especially the Novartis and Pfizer, telling me that, okay, these top 20% doctors are giving you 60% sales. So based on that, you should be treating them or prioritizing them or reaching out to them or targeting them in a different manner as compared to the other groups. Does that make sense to everyone? So targeting and segmentation is one of the bread and butter for many of our projects. And some of the keywords now I would be using is core and very unique, like sizing. Determine the market size and potential for the healthcare product services using predictive analytics. I mean, Manish, you might be doing something related to sizing, is it?
Yeah. It's focusing on core and focus on something on non-core. That's everything.
Yes, correct. So demand, I mean, forecasting the demand, what you would be having. So in all such cases, many of the times you would end up using either the regression or time series in some of the cases. So sizing is what? A typical domain, what I have been using in the pharmaceutical or in the healthcare. But eventually when you will deep dive into the idea, you will find that either you are doing something with the regression or classification or clustering. So these are going to be always and always the 4 pillars for you. Does that make sense to you guys? So within that sizing, you have been doing a lot of the things: population projections, dynamic assessments, competitor benchmarking. Then we have also been doing a lot called territory alignment. These were altogether a different kind of project. What we were doing is we were optimizing the healthcare sales territories by predictive analytics for the improved efficiency and the ROI. And in that case, we are predicting the high value territories. So multiple locations were there, but out of all the given locations, you can say like cities, okay? So out of all the given cities, which city is going to be giving me the maximum revenue? And in those cities, what physicians I should be targeting on is what I would be doing with the territory alignment. Then we have call planning. You know, Manish and my other friends, you would be happy to understand that whenever an MR is making a phone call or a physical visit to a physician in US or in other European markets, we have a proper strategies and analytical driven strategies. Okay, what should be the first 5 questions a marketing representative should ask? What is the time? Like, should he be taking first 30 seconds to say hi or hello? And in what duration, 100 minutes or 150 minutes, he should be asking the first 5 questions if he is going for a survey. So you won't believe that for every single move and an action in the whole pharmacy and in the healthcare world, that is being analytically driven. And all of those strategies are being built by the predictive analytics. And for that, either you would be using maybe regression, classification, clustering, time series, or the latest trends in the AI and ML. Does that make sense to you guys? Serious. Enhance pharmaceutical sales and call efficiency and impact through strategic planning with the predictive analytics. So we are making sure that, okay, our call should be more and more impactful to the audience. Call planning is one such activity which we have been doing. And then my favorite is market mix modeling, my dear friends. Evaluate and optimize the market mix for pharmaceuticals and healthcare services. Like pharmaceuticals and healthcare services, market mix means the kind of source of the revenues. Multiple sources of the revenues are there. Which source you should be more focused on? And this is nothing but a pure regression. Maybe as a mentor, I would encourage you to find what is market MMM model we used to call it. So market mix modeling. and how regression plays a role in it. So try to think about it. I just have written a problem statement on the chat window, my dear friends. If you can see that, this could be my task for you, so that you can play around with this idea. After that market mix modeling, we have incentive compensations. What is the incentive we should? So whatever the names you can see right from the beginning, be it the targeting segmentation, be it the sizing, territory alignment, call planning, market mix modeling, incentive compensation. These are all the things what I have personally worked in the core healthcare domain, along with the claim, whatever I was telling you, is it a genuine claim or not? So these kind of projects are going to be playing an important role in terms of the basic day in and day out activity in the healthcare world. Along with that, there are some core technical projects, very sophisticated into the analytical world. I am not using it as of now, but yeah, I have been using the chat GPT, AI, and other implementations for the betterment of the whole business engagement. I will be sharing these slides with you, and you would love to explore the further use cases. So this is the second slide I have, where I was defining the use of conversational AI for the intelligent customer care capabilities in the healthcare world. The whole structure has been crafted out. Then again, the symptom checking, virtual assistants versus general internet search, information disseminations, healthcare coaching, tracking management, streamlining administrative tasks through automation, AI implementation health. There's a lot of projects I have been mentioning here, which you can definitely take a look on and can understand the idea, okay? So I would like to limit my conversation here only without stretching it further. Maybe if you have any doubt, question, concern, I will spare 5 minutes for you guys to interact with me. Anyone?
Yeah, you can raise your hand in case if you have any doubt to ask. Yeah, Rohit.
So, Ankur, can we say that the whole predictive and machine learning is a part of inferential statistics? But the base of this all thing is basis on inferential statistics. Can we see that?
In a nutshell, if you would get into the conversational roots of where the predictive modeling has been coming from, I can say yes, what you are saying is correct. But inferential as a keyword is more specific to statistics, Rohit.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean, for you personally, you might be an expert of statistics, then you can say yes. I mean, I can say yes for you particularly, but in the general scenario, if I would say yes, then it would be confusing to many of us. You got my point?
Yeah.
So inferential is like fine because the roots are actually coming from the same idea. You are using the statistics even in the machine learning at the core of the heart. So from that analogy, what you are saying is correct, but I being more from the business side may not be going with that thought.
So once again, thank you everyone for taking out your time on Saturday morning and joining us. And Ankur, thank you so much once again for your time and knowledge. I hope this was a really knowledge sharing session, and we look forward for you guys joining in the next week with a different topic. So
Sure.
once again, thank you all. Have a great weekend, and thank you, Ankur, and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you so much for your kind participation and coordination with this. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank
Bye.
you, Ankur. Thank you for the excellent session.